Hello and welcome to R&R's Ask the Expert. I'm Kayla McGowan, editor-in-chief, and today we're tackling scaling your business and empowering veterans in our industry. Today's special guest is John Tovar, and he is the president of ServiceMaster Restore and has years of experience as leadership. Please welcome John Tovar.
Thanks so much, Kayla.
You're very welcome. A long time in the making for us to, meet and chat. And so I'm so excited to kind of tackle two really cool topics, if you will. I think they kind of go hand in hand, even though we're talking about scaling, but veterans are very important in our industry. So I think it's an interesting collab here, if you will. So ServiceMaster Restore has a huge global, footprint. How does that scale help you when responding to large scale disasters, especially through ServiceMaster Restore?
Yeah, thanks. One of the things that's really important and I think really critical for in our ability to respond to widespread disasters is our national footprint. We've really got a great North American footprint, and that's in my purview as our group president. And our ability to deliver coordinated resources, coordinated mobilization from really across North America. That's people, that's skilled project managers. It's equipment that's staged throughout the country, all being managed centrally through our operations center. Really helps us respond pre-strike, post-strike, and for any and every type of event. So whether it's a wildfire, a freeze, a hurricane, tornadoes, we're able to operate really as one company. Although we're built of proud individual franchisees and entrepreneurs, we really come together as one service master when disaster really strikes.
Yeah, I will definitely say you guys have a really great team. I've been fortunate enough to meet some of your training team and some of your owners, and everybody is so delightful, very personable, and they honestly love our industry and love their job, which is really cool because I truly think to be in this industry, you have to do just that. Love this industry and love your job because we do something very special every day, if you will. And I say special because there's a lot, not just with our hands and our mind, but there's a portion of empathy and sympathy and taking care of the customer along the way. So it's not just coming in every day and doing the same thing, right? There's
Well,
always something different going on. And so, especially on the large scale, right? We've seen a lot of fires this year. We've seen a lot of flooding this year. And so you guys being able to respond is crucial during those times, especially being across the entire US.
no, absolutely. And look, whether it's a water loss in a home, a singular water loss, that still is one of the worst days in that person's life. They just
Yeah.
lost all their baby books, all their toys, all the things that their children used to play with. They lost, property and really just their ability. I mean, the sanctity of their home has been disrupted. You take that all the way to the other end of the spectrum, where you're a part of a wide scale, area wide event, and it really is, outside of maybe losing a loved one, really one of the worst days, in someone's life. And so to show up with empathy, care, compassion, professionalism, that's something our franchisees take incredibly seriously. We work very hard to support them and to help them deliver that kind of empathetic and compassionate professional care and service in that type of environment. It also, in many cases, is very unpleasant work. You're dealing in environments that have odor, that it's just kind of dirty. I mean, gosh, we got stories of there's alligators swimming in the water outside, after there's been a major flood, and you never know what you're going to encounter in our industry, which is part of what makes it fun, but it's part of what makes our franchisees and the people that actually go out there and do the work so special. Because you absolutely have to have a servant heart, and that's why we're very proud of our name, Service Master, because that servant heart, the name, the word service is in our name, and I think it shows up on a daily basis, all the way up to really those large events that capture national attention.
Yeah, and you said alligators. I think that's the other thing, right? In that whole thing is like you still have to serve through all of that. You still have to keep your composure. You still have to be like that positive light for those who are going through some of the worst times in their life, right? And even you said, down to even just a water loss, right? It it seems maybe small to some, but like you said, baby books, maybe newspaper clippings or whatever the case may be, stuff that's not replaceable. That really affects our customers, and we still have to be that, again, light during that time and kind
Yeah.
of show them, hey, there is peace on the end of this. We will get you there, show a lot of optimism, and that's hard, right? Especially when somebody's there crying in front of you or just hysterical. They don't know, what the next step is in the process. You have to keep it together as a person, and you guys do a really, really good job at that. I know that you guys recently hit a pretty big milestone, huh? 500K in veteran career support. That's really impressive. And, what inspired you guys to invest so heavily in the veteran pathways?
Well, no, great question. I come from a proud military family. Really have always had so much respect and admiration for veterans. I've got things here in my office from my great grandfather in World War I to my grandfather in World War II. I mean, right on up the line. And as someone from the 9/11 generation, look at so many from my age group, if you will, who went and did so much. And although I never served personally myself, I've just always respected and admired the professionalism, the work ethic, the attention to detail. That so many I've had the opportunity to work with and know and through the years. And I just thought, what a great way to use the ServiceMaster platform to figure out how to enrich our workforce and also give back to those who have given so much to us. And so we partnered almost 4 years ago with Hire Heroes USA, a fantastic a nonprofit that helps honorably discharged veterans and their spouses find their next mission in life. And I knew the servant hearts we just talked about from our franchise base, along with those who have actually served us in uniform, that would be really a match, and it'd be a great fit. And so you're proud to say, fast forward to today, we've helped over 500 veterans or their spouses find their next mission in life. That represents $500,000, and the program is really growing and scaling. We'll have really one big tent pole event every year. Those are large We Serve golf tournaments. But what's also exciting is there's been local activation where our franchisees in different parts of the country have thrown their own, whether it's a golf tournament, whether it's a 5K run, whether it's whatever it may be, something on a local level. And that really becomes the force multiplier. And so, and along the way, we've been able to partner on job boards, and we're hiring veterans through their portal into great roles in next missions in life in an industry that you and I both know is a fantastic industry with lots of growth potential. You can be an owner of your own business, you can be a project manager, you could be a technician, whatever it may be. This is a great industry, and it's perfect for people who love to serve others like our veterans.
Yeah, and you really said everything I was thinking right there about servants' heart and just their work ethic and their pride, right? They're very prideful in their work. And, life is so valuable to all of us, but veterans have a different care level. I don't know what it is, if I'm being quite honest. I come from a military family as well, and just the care that you receive from those who have served is a little different. The love that you receive is a little different. Not saying that our everyday people don't provide the same, but I think it's the training that they've gone through, right? Their training is different, it's extensive, and they made friends and family out of complete strangers during their time, whether it was in boot camp or overseas or whatever they've done in their time during the military that they served. Then they come over to our industry, and we don't have to teach that. We don't have to teach that servant's heart. We don't have to teach that level of care or the work ethic. And they're ready to go in and just provide the services that need to be provided to our customers, which is really cool to see, because a lot of times, we don't really know where our military veterans go after service, right? What are they? Are they provided with a career path? What is that? And so having something like this from you guys is extremely important and cool to see, because like you said, it's strong already, but it's going to continue to grow, and you guys are still going to have a lasting impact. And hearing, your one big event has inspired other pocket events, if you will, which even potentially unlocks community building, within your guys's network, which is really cool because that's really important. That's a huge part of our business as well every single day. Um, and I think we kind of have talked about like the skills that veterans bring, but what do you feel they bring particularly that's unique to our industry that we maybe not have had, or maybe they strengthen it just a little bit? And how do we help them transition into the restoration world, if you will?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things. First of all, I mentioned earlier, it can often be physically challenging and unpleasant work. I mean, you think about who wants to go into a hurricane zone? Who wants to maybe live out of an RV for a couple weeks while you're working around the clock to restore a large commercial property that has inches of mold all over the food services boxes that are there. I mean, these are the things you see, and so when you've gone and done the types of things veterans in this era have gone and done and have done throughout time, going to that facility doesn't seem all that bad. And so, one, they're courageous and they'll go into places and handle themselves with professionalism and pride that many people just kind of won't go and do. And I think that calling to serve those in really challenging times really resonates. I think they bring great leadership. You gotta have some structure, some coordinated response, and I think they're able to display great leadership in those kind of environments, whether it's leading a project crew on a singular loss or whether it's a large complex project somewhere across the country. Bringing that coordination and that leadership, I think, really really makes sense. And at the end of the day, I find most veterans to be tremendously disciplined, hardworking, and that word you use, prideful. And we want people that are going to show up and have a lot of pride in their work because who they're helping in many cases is having one of the worst days they've had in their life. And so that combination, and there's other aspects that I'm sure are just not coming to me at this point, but those are a couple top of mind that to me have made the veterans that have transitioned incredibly effective for us. And in many cases, some of our best team members, and I know some of the best team members for the franchisees that have successfully hired veterans as well.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to talk about, leadership and just, ready to work. Like they have that mindset ready to work. But I'll also say their leadership skills are a little different. They have like strategic leadership skill, like I don't even know how to describe it. You could probably describe it a little bit better than I can, but they're very strategic. And that can oftentimes make a really big difference when we're faced with a large loss, if you will, even just a smaller loss. Their strategy portion of their brain is just different, which is really cool to see. But leadership is not easy to master. And so when you already have somebody coming into your business model who has the leadership skills, it does make it much easier for you and your team. I can only imagine. So we kind of talked about, what you guys do for veterans, their skills and things like that. But can you share a particular story that maybe stands out to you for a veteran in your guys' network who just really has thrived?
Yeah, I mean, I think about, gosh, you could take Brendan Egan. Brendan Egan, he's our vice president of commercial sales on the corporate side. Brendan was recently commissioned as a colonel in the United States Marine Corps Reserves. Had the honor of going and watching him pinned by a general, which was a tremendous honor at the Pentagon. And I look back through his career, and he's been an infantry officer in the Marines. He's gone and seen combat overseas many, many times. I've also watched him in a civilian capacity at a couple of companies that I've worked with him, and he's always thrived. And he's the guy who gets up every morning, still takes great care of his body and himself, comes, works with dedication and discipline, and is incredibly effective. And then on the weekends has to go to do his reserve duties. And at the end of the day, you look at someone who can balance all those things while being a husband. His wife Angie's fantastic, and he's got great kids. And so you're checking all the boxes, right? You're a good son, you're a good father, you're a good husband, you're a good employee, you're just a good person, and you've also got a servant heart, and you've done so much. And so I see people like that on our side, and they're throughout our franchise network that just do so much. And you look back and go, that's really, really impressive. And I'm glad to have you on the team. And I'm glad because we're all going to get better being around someone who can just bring something like that to the table.
Yeah, and that's really inspiring, if you will, too, because I think a lot of times people think veterans, their duty stops. A lot of times they actually have stuff going on still in the background. So even though that he may be in our industry working hard Monday through Friday, like you said, on the weekends he's handling things in the reserves, right? So they are very unique to our industry. They also, I think, help instill qualities and ethics into our employees that they're working with alongside. And like you said, he checks all the boxes, which is very fortunate. He's also setting a great example for his children. We still have so many generations to come. I too am a mom. I know you two are a father. And, that's the best thing that we want to have happen to our kids is have a great role model. Because, I feel like sometimes we may have a little influence on our kids coming into this industry, whether they'd like to admit that or not. But that's really cool to hear, and you said he checks all the boxes. I mean, what more could you ask for? He's a hard worker, he's a great human being. And you said he served overseas and he's still very active, which is huge. That work ethic is just so different. So looking ahead, how do you guys plan to expand your support for veterans? I know you guys have hit some milestones, but what do you guys kind of see for the future for you guys?
Yeah, great question. So, we've started, we've now had three of our, tentpole events annually. The program has been brought to other brands like ServiceMaster Clean. So that footprint is now even larger. Next year our event is on the books. We'll be at TPC Sawgrass. These are, for those out there that are golfers, these are amazing courses. And so we're not just bringing franchisees, we're bringing customers. These are insurance companies, these are end users, these are other partners in the industry. So we're really trying to rally the industry around it a little bit. And that's starting to happen at a grassroots level. And so we'll keep doing those events bigger and bigger. We'll keep supporting our franchisees so that they can do more of those events on a local level. And as we raise more money, all it does is, I think, amplify our voice and our impact. And there will be more veterans through Hire Heroes USA that we're able to go and support. We've also done the work to connect our portals so franchisees can open up, we call it morning coffee. They can open up their dashboard, which is their numbers that they can look at. The tongue in cheek being you'd be drinking your coffee looking at what happened the day before in the morning. What you can also do is click on a button if you want to hire a veteran or see what veterans in your local market are looking for employment with your specific organization. And so things like that are really just the next step. And so the evolution has been rapid, but it's been really fantastic, rewarding, and fun. Hire Heroes USA is a fantastic organization to work with. Ross Dickman, their CEO, is fantastic, and we'll keep partnering and ideating together on what the next turn of the crank is. Last thing I'll say is, we were recognized this year at their annual gala, their empowerment gala, as the partner of the year, which was fantastic considering our partnership is relatively young. And so we're incredibly honored to be recognized as partner of the year. We got to live up to that and outdo ourselves in the future. So.
Yeah, well, huge congratulations to you guys, especially with that being a younger partnership. That just shows the impact that your guys' network actually does have. And it's nice to see our industry working with somebody who is able to help place veterans in their new home, if you will, right? And the morning coffee thing is really cool because I think everybody relates. Like, hey, I need that cup of coffee in the morning, especially
Yeah.
in this industry. I feel like we definitely need maybe more than one cup of coffee, but hey, and be able to just have it within, a scroll reach, if you will, with your mouse. And that's really cool to see because, you never know. You might just by chance be sipping on your coffee and find the next, hero for your business, if you will. No pun intended there. But I'd also like to say this also plays a role in scaling for you guys too, right? Maybe on a different level, but that's extremely important too. Veterans are part of the scaling effort. Yes, you have separate initiatives, but that's part of growing your guys' network as well. But yeah, huge congratulations on that Partner of the Year. That's no small accomplishment for you guys. Congratulations. I know I said that, but that's really huge. Here's to having, that recognition again, maybe in the future. It'd be great to see it happen again for you guys. But I don't have any more questions for you. If you have any closing words, go ahead and share them. I'd be more than happy to let you share some.
Yeah, thanks, Kayla. What I'd say is we have tremendous franchisees at ServiceMaster who have servant hearts, and that's why I think working with veterans who have, I think, maybe the ultimate servant hearts and have made in many cases the some of the biggest and ultimate sacrifice in some cases. That is a great match, and so we're incredibly proud of our efforts in supporting veterans. Incredibly proud of our partnership with Hire Heroes USA. The best is certainly yet to come. And I really appreciate, Kayla, the opportunity to talk about ServiceMaster and to talk about the benefits of hiring veterans because not only is it a match here, but hiring veterans in whatever organization you're in is going to be a great fit for you as well for all the reasons we've discussed.
Yeah, great closing words there. I agree. I couldn't have said it better. And I thank you for coming on with me. I look forward to having you on again in the future. And as always, we will see you on the next episode of Ask the Expert. Take care.
Thanks, Kayla.